I'm going to tell you something about Samuel Kercheval. Him and Jefferson out smoking corn silk. Kercheval told him, Thomas, I don't know about this country. Might want to start again.
He could.
So I don't have a monitor here, so I really can't see what happens at the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So at what point do I pop up? When the music starts and Mr. Announcer comes on?
Yeah.
So they see all the little panic things that I do that I'm still in the process of setting up?
Yes. They see you shuffle about uncomfortably. They see you blow the dust off your headphones. They see you put in like 2 cough drops at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I don't do 2 at the same time. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know that. I should probably. Now, these shows are archived, right? So I can go back and watch them.
Yes.
So I could like live this show in real time and then go home and, when I say something to Linda like, hey, did you hear when I did this? And she, I don't watch it. Well, let's get in front of the TV and watch me do it again for 3 straight hours.
Yes, it's archived just like the audio podcast.
Ah, that's right.
And see, this is the thing that gets the NCAA in trouble. Excuse me. When it goes to court here, is there a clock or not? Greg, we talk about the clock all the time. Mm-hmm. If he began in 2019, the clock should have run out, whether he's played the 4 years or not. And that's part of the argument because some guys go right through the clock, right? TJ Finley, we've mentioned many times on this show. 7th team coming up this year. He's playing for Incarnate Word. He's played 7 seasons at 7 different schools. Now, why hasn't his clock started? Why doesn't he have the 5-year clock? So if you're Aguilar, I get it.
He just bounced him off the ropes. Somebody save this man. Oh, my Lord. Oh. Very nice, very nice. He hit him with everything he didn't want.
Ten seconds remaining.
Going to be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
Things aren't always going to be great. And sometimes, you can work really, really hard and it's still not great. You're still not successful. But, if you continue to do it, one way or another, things are going to be, work out. You're going to be successful. And it may not be in the world's eyes, but, God's made us this way. He's blessed us with so many things. And I think that's one of our attributes that we need to have is we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to work hard. And if it doesn't work out exactly how we want, just keep plugging away because God's got better plans.
Five, 3, 1.
Red 57, Red 57, hot, hot.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Bill McKenzie kicks a 38-yard field goal on the final play of the football game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
From the home of the state's land-grant institution, inside the Health Plan Studios, in the Dale B. Miller Building in Morgantown, it's time for the state's most listened to sports talk show. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. CityNet, cybersecurity experts for the digital age. And now, across the state of West Virginia and beyond, Sportsline is on the air.
Sportsline for Tuesday. It's a game night for the Mountaineers. West Virginia on the road at Oklahoma State. We'll get into that in depth coming up. And I want to throw a question out there. As first of all, good evening, Greg's here.
Good evening, Kyle. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good question you got coming.
We're going to preview a couple of high school games here real quick, but I want to throw a question out there for the texters. Obviously, things disappointing of late for this Mountaineer team. 2 consecutive losses, at least for the moment. They've kind of fallen off the NCAA tournament bubble, and it looks like the tournament at this point is a long shot. But do you consider this a disappointing season? What were your expectations coming in? I don't think anybody realistically thought this team was going to contend for the Big 12 championship, considering all the great teams that are in this league. So obviously an NCAA tournament berth would have been nice. It still could happen. There's still a good portion of the season to play out in terms of the last couple of weeks of the regular season, the tournament. But are you disappointed by this season? What were your expectations coming in? 304 Talk 304, and we'll get into that. We'll get into the West Virginia-Oklahoma State matchup as well. But first, it's a big night for boys AAA basketball. A couple of big games, and WVMetroNews.com will be there. A little bit later on, we'll hear from Greg Carey, who's at the matchup between North Marion and Robert C. Byrd. That's a top 10 matchup. North Marion's number 3. But we've also got number 1 against number 2, with Capital taking on Chapmanville. And Joe Brocato is there. He'll have coverage later tonight at WVMetroNews.com. Joe, good evening. How are you?
Hey, good evening, guys.
Made the trip safely down to Chapmanville.
Absolutely. Problem-free. For once, the snow has stayed away. So we'll take it while we can get it.
All right, let's get into this. We've had these coaches, both of them, on the last couple of weeks on High School Sportsline, and we've talked from the Capital perspective. They've ascended to the number 1 spot in the Metro News Tutors Biscuit World Power Rankings, and Coach Cookie Miller talked about building a program and accountability and getting guys to prepare for games and practice properly. The first year wasn't great, but in year 2 under Cookie Miller, he's got this Capital team back at the top of the heap in AAA.
Yeah, it's been a very quick turnaround for this Capital team, and they come into this game and their regular season finale with a 17-3 record. And I think early on in the season, when they had back-to-back victories at Woodrow Wilson, a Quad A team, and then at Bridgeport, the defending Class AAA state champions, I think that was a pretty good indication that this team was going to continue to turn the corner and make improvements. And not only have they done that, but they've been the number 1 team in the Metro News rankings for the entire year when we put them out in early January. And they've won 8 games in a row. They're coming off of a very good performance in a victory over South Charleston in the 3rd-place game of the MSAC tournament on Saturday afternoon. So they come in playing some great ball, and it'll be interesting once we see the regional pairings be announced in the next couple of days where they'll shake out in Class AAA Region 3.
So, Joe, what kind of contest are we going to see tonight? What's Chapmanville got to do to knock off Capital?
Yeah, I think with Chapmanville, they get a lot of contributions from lots of different guys on the roster and through guys in different classifications. 2 guys that have been around for a while for Chapmanville, Eli Smith and Benji Atkins, a pair of great seniors, but they've also got some good sophomores, Dakota Dalton and the big man Keaton Terry. And I think if you look at Chapmanville, the way that they like to play, they only allow 55 points per game. Capital likes to get up and down and run the floor a little bit more, although they've shown the ability to win some games when scoring in the 40s. They did that against Bridgeport back in December. So I think Chapmanville maybe want to keep this pace a little bit lower in terms of getting up and down, but certainly they've shown the ability to run up some scores as well.
Capital uses a lot of guys too, and a couple of veteran players in Josiah Green and David Robinson out of the backcourt kind of seem to lead the way for Capital.
Robinson recently getting back in the lineup. He's been limited by injury during the season, but he's a highly touted football player, and he's averaging just under 10 points per game in basketball season for the Cougars. Deshaun Williams, their leading scorer, averaging just under 12 points per game. But you're right, Kyle, and I got to see that Saturday in their game against South Charleston, where they're essentially able to run two different units in. Now, they don't necessarily have starters and reserves, and they mix the groups together, but Cookie Miller is able to run lots of different guys out there and to very good effect. So I think certainly as they advance through the playoffs, however far they go, Capital is going to have a depth advantage on a number of different teams.
And Chapmanville, Joe, we had their coach, Brad Napper, on last week, and he really intriguing player in Keaton Terry, who last year was a freshman on this team that made the state tournament at 6'7", and he had been out for a while, but it looks like he's returned to the Chapmanville lineup and kind of working his way back in there to where Chapmanville's really going to be a tough out once it comes to tournament time.
Yeah, Terry has been back in the lineup as of late, and it's coincided with a 6-game winning streak, and in that winning streak, they posted a couple of victories over Spring Valley, another against Bridgeport. So they are, just like Capital, they're playing probably their best ball as the postseason nears. They've got a couple of good tests after this one. They'll take on Williamstown on the road, and then they've added a game at a Quad A team in Huntington to close out the regular season. So a very difficult stretch to end out the regular season for Chapmanville, but I'm sure that their head coach, Brad Napper, wants to see as many tests as he can before postseason play gets here.
So, Joe, as you said, we haven't seen the regional brackets yet for the boys' side of things, but what are the odds that these two will both get to Charleston and may face off again deep down in the state tournament?
Yeah, I think there's a decent chance of that. I would say both of these teams would be very disappointed if they didn't at least get to the state tournament. Chapmanville plays out of a good region in Region 4, and Capital, there's lots of good teams in Region 3 as well. Ripley is the strong side in Region 3. Shady Spring, although they've taken some losses lately, that's a team that knows how to play their way to the state tournament. So I think both of those teams would probably be a little bit disappointed if they don't find their way to the state tournament.
And AAA is pretty deep. We're going to talk to Greg here in a minute about North Marion. They're playing tonight against Robert C. Byrd. That's a nice rivalry. Bridgeport, of course, the defending state champ, Carter Zuliani's moved on to WVU, where he's a member of the football team. But Bridgeport, with the way they play, their discipline and their athletic ability, they're going to be a factor. Shady Spring's going to be a factor. There's a lot of really good teams in AAA.
And one more to mention, one of the three teams that currently have 17 victories, the Winfield Generals, and we'll speak with their head coach, Travis Tarr, on High School Sportsline, the final edition of High School Sportsline coming up tomorrow night. But Winfield's had a great year. You mentioned North Marion at 16-2. They're coming off a victory over Bridgeport. Ripley with 17 victories. This Capital team has 17 as well. So you can look up and down through the lineup, and there's lots of different teams that you could really make the case that they probably would consider themselves favorite in the Class AAA bracket.
Joe Brocato at Chapmanville Capital tonight. Joe, we've got to get your opinion on the question of the night. Has this Mountaineer basketball team been has the season been disappointing to you, or is this about where you thought they'd be?
Well, with the asterisk that there's still enough time to potentially change the narrative if they have, the ability to knock off a couple victories and then maybe get on a run in Kansas City. But as it stands now, I'm sure Ross Hodge would probably say that, yes, it has been a disappointing season to this point because of the way that they've played lately and not being able to take advantage of the position that they did put themselves in, where they were at least around the good side of the NCAA tournament bubble. And now that they've kind of played themselves off of it, I would say that Ross Hodge probably believes it has been disappointing to this point.
Good point. Good answer. Joe, we appreciate your time. We'll look for your work a little bit later on tonight.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Joe Brocato there with Chapmanville and Capital, 1 versus 2 in Class AAA. Also tonight, number 3 is playing number 7 in Class AAA. North Marion ranked number 3. Robert C. Byrd also in the top 10. And Greg Carey's going to have coverage at WVMetroNews.com, and he joins us with a preview. Greg, good evening.
Good evening. How's it going?
We're doing well. Set this one up for us. North Marion's playing exceptionally well against a Robert C. Byrd team that's just loaded with seniors.
Yeah, and it's, as you mentioned, North Marion enjoying an outstanding season to this point. They've only lost 2 games. Neither loss was to a team in Class AAA. They were competitive in each setback against both Parkersburg South and then Wheeling Central later in the year. Since then, they've reeled off 9 consecutive victories, including an impressive win at Bridgeport recently. So this is a team that's brimming with confidence. They're playing at a high level on both ends. And Robert C. Byrd was enjoying a strong season really up until the better part of the last 10 days or so. The Eagles, a couple competitive losses to the likes of Fairmont Senior and then University, and then fell flat most recently in a matchup with Bridgeport. So they've ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw towards the end of the regular season. Probably not a coincidence that that's also been a pretty challenging slate of games. Unfortunately for the Eagles, things are not going to get any easier tonight, so they're going to need to perform at a higher level than what they have over these last couple of weeks if they kind of hope to get things turned around in the right direction.
So, Greg, where has RCB fallen short as of late that they're going to need to get it turned around tonight?
Yeah, really in the loss to Bridgeport, they struggled scoring. They only had 5 points in the first quarter, 38 for the game. So they're going to have to find a way to execute better in the half court, and they're going to have to find a way to probably get the game to the tempo at their liking, which means getting the ball out and getting it in transition, using some of the athletes like Cameron Newswan that they have on the wing and kind of utilizing him to get downhill and put some pressure on the rim, because that's generally when the Eagles are at their best, is when they're able to kind of thrive in transition against maybe some broken defenses. And when the game bogs down into more of a half-court setting, they don't necessarily have a natural post player, so they're generally reliant on the perimeter.
You've seen North Marion a bunch this year. What has impressed you about them and what's come together? I know they've got a couple of big-time scorers, guys that one player right around 20 points per game, another player around 16 points per game. They seem to be able to score with just about anybody in this classification.
Yeah, and I think just really what's been most impressive is the variety of styles in which they can win. As I was mentioning, where, generally Robert C. Byrd has been best suited, maybe getting the game in transition. No, that's a style that also suits North Marion, but the Huskies don't mind if the game slows down and they have to, rely on half-court execution, maybe generating some stops in addition to rebounding. But I think you just mentioned, it's just kind of been steady improvement to get to this point over the last few seasons. And they're a team that has pretty quality perimeter shooting. They've got a surplus of experience and a couple of, junior and senior players that have played a lot of big games through the years. So in the case of North Marion, they're finally seeing them break through against some of these top-tier opponents, and they've really put it all together. The Huskies are hoping, at the right time here, because they appear to be peaking as March approaches.
Mm-hmm.
So as we get ready for the state basketball tournament, it looks like Class AAA, which you're discussing, is about as deep as any. Is Capital just a prohibitive favorite, or could 4 or 5 different teams win this tournament once they get to Charleston?
Yeah, I think at least 4 or 5. I would say Capital might be a slight favorite at this point. Saw them earlier in the year. They're certainly a deep roster, and they've got a lot of depth that they can fall back on. So where some teams probably need certain players to play up to a certain standard to have a chance to win, I'm not sure that is necessarily the case for Capital, because they can rely on generally any number of 7, 8, 9 different guys that are capable of getting into double figures, which obviously bodes well for them. But let's see also what happens tonight in their matchup with Chapmanville, right? Because I don't think the Tigers are, if they are behind Capital, I don't think it's a fine, very wide margin. Obviously, their recent victory against Bridgeport and doing it in impressive fashion speaks volumes. And then the Indians have had an outstanding season. They are the defending champion. They certainly have enough to get back to that stage. And then you look down a little bit at some of the other teams like North Marion. Obviously, we know the stature of Shady Springs program, and teams like Ripley and Winfield and East Fairmont are also enjoying outstanding years. So I do think that you can make a pretty solid case that AAA, really 1 through even 9, 10, if you wanted to extend it, even maybe 12 deep, go to like the Greenbrier East and teams like that, is probably the deepest class this year.
Greg, question of the night: are you disappointed by this WVU basketball season so far, and what were your expectations coming in?
I think maybe a little bit short of expectations. Not sure, I would say it's a complete disappointment, and we'll kind of see how things play out over the next couple of weeks. But I do think at this point you probably expected to have maybe a little bit more in the way of quality victories. I'm not sure necessarily that the amount of victories is what surprised me, but West Virginia didn't really have anything close to a signature win in the non-conference, and they certainly missed out on some chances here recently. But I would say, let's see how the next couple of weeks play out before we come to a final determination. But to this point, I would say just falling a little bit short of expectations.
Very good. Good point. We appreciate your time. We'll look for your work later on tonight as well.
Anytime, guys. Have a good evening.
Greg Carey there of WVMetroNews.com covering North Marion and Robert C. Byrd. So, yeah, both point out that with 4 games left, Oklahoma State tonight, sold-out game against BYU. There's your chance to get a signature win there on Saturday. Road trip to Kansas State, and then home to Central Florida, team that you've already beaten. So there is a chance to finish very strong.
Sure, you have that opportunity, and that's the thing about this league is almost every night out you have opportunities to get quality wins. And I'll admit tonight may not be what you would think of in terms of a quality win, but West Virginia is still an underdog, slight underdog in tonight's game. So, and obviously BYU and Central Florida are 2 that would give West Virginia high-level wins as well. So go out there, take your swings. Would really help, I think, the psyche of everyone to get one tonight against the Cowboys.
No question. 304 Talk 304. Are you disappointed with this season? What were your expectations coming in? 304 Talk 304. We'll take a break and we'll get to the text line when we return. It is the CityNet statewide sports line from the Health Plan Studios. Since 1979, the Health Plan has called West Virginia home. From humble beginnings, they've grown alongside West Virginia, becoming a part of its fabric. For over 4 decades, they've been here through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses, proudly serving West Virginia for over 40 years. The Health Plan.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The Health Plan, we are here for you.
Kids deserve care that's as specialized as they are. At WVU Medicine, Golisano Children's Pediatric Urology, we treat everything from urinary tract issues and kidney problems to bladder and genital conditions with expertise and compassion. Our team uses advanced techniques designed for growing bodies so your child gets the best care possible. Call 855-WVU-CARE to schedule an evaluation or visit WVUkids.com.
Starting March 10th, Metro News brings you the 2026 West Virginia SSAC High School Basketball Championships presented by Chick-fil-A.
First title for Spring Mills and boys basketball.
The best teams in the state will once again meet at the Charleston Coliseum and Convention Center to compete for the title in their respective classes. The girls' tournament runs March 10th through 14th. The boys play March 17th through the 21st. Catch all the games on the Metro News Radio Network and at WVMetroNews.com, where you'll also find up-to-the-minute scoring, stats, and brackets, the latest tournament news, and game recaps. Also, you can watch the live HD video streams of the class championships both Saturdays on Metro News Television.
The luck and skill of the Irish, they win the AA championship.
The 2026 West Virginia SSAC State High School Basketball Championships beginning March 10th, presented by Chick-fil-A, exclusively on Metro News, the voice of high school basketball in West Virginia. Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
New year, new trucks. Start your year off with a new truck from Dan Cava Toyota World. Now lease a 2025 Tacoma for as low as $299 a month. Save over $7,500 off on select Tundras or get 2.99% for 72 months. It's your last chance to get a gas model 2025 RAV4. Don't miss out. Come experience cars you can count on year after year. Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop Thoron.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
You want to know what West Virginia is talking about? It's good to be back in Morgantown today.
Now it's different.
I think it's mostly just business.
What I voted for and what I think makes the most sense.
Well, Dave, this has been a bit of a controversy.
I want to thank the caller last week that said I sounded like Hoppy Kercheval. That was flattering.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talk Line on Metro News Television.
Tuesday night on the Sportsline, game night for the Mountaineers. They are in Stillwater for the contest against Oklahoma State. Greg, how even is this series? It is even perfectly.
Dead on.
Dead on. These teams have played 26 times. 25 of them have come in Big 12 conference play since West Virginia joined the Big 12. The series is tied at 13 wins and 13 losses. The teams are 6-6 in games in Stillwater. They're 6-6 games in Morgantown. They're 1-1 against each other on neutral courts. So
Can't
it
get
could
much
not
more even than that. Can
could
you?
not be any more even. So this is the third straight year they will have played just once. Mountaineers beat Oklahoma State in Stillwater last year 69-50, and that was one of Javon Small's better games, 24 points. Oklahoma State won in Stillwater 70-66 in 2024. So 13 wins apiece, 6-6 in Stillwater, 6-6 in Morgantown, although the home team has won the last 6 games. So that's an interesting side note as well.
We'll see how that equates to date against an Oklahoma State team that obviously has lost, as we discussed since the last couple of days, have lost 5 in a row. Of course, West Virginia's lost 2 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Who's mentally a little bit better? Who's physically sharp? I mean, you get to this point in the year, everybody's a little bit tired. How does that impact West Virginia on the second leg of a 2-game road swing? It didn't seem to hurt Utah the other night when they had a lengthy losing streak, had lost at Cincinnati in a heartbreaker before coming to Morgantown, and then played well against the Mountaineers and got the win in Morgantown. So I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just going around of all the thoughts in my head.
And tempo, that'll be a big thing because Oklahoma State's one of the faster teams. West Virginia, as we all know, very methodical defensively, giving up just 63.5 points per game. Oklahoma State is a top 10 team nationally in adjusted tempo, and West Virginia is towards the bottom of that stat. And Oklahoma State averages about 11 more possessions per game compared to West Virginia, but the scoring has dried up. They average about 84 points per game during this losing streak. They're 13 points off that pace.
Yeah.
Down around 71 points, 70 or 71 points per game.
Let me ask you your opinion then. So if you could only pick one, would it be best for West Virginia to play good defense and slow Oklahoma State down, or for West Virginia to be better offensively and put up more points than – which would you take?
Well, I mean, they played well defensively against TCU and couldn't score. So are you asking me, would I rather see a better defensive game or to hit shots?
Yep.
I'll take the shot making if that's
makes sense.
Possible. But, I mean, it's a horrendous slump they're in. It's 8 consecutive games at or under 30% from 3. It's been 8 games since they had a double-digit 3-point shooting game, and that was at Arizona State.
Yeah. So, and obviously that goes to, especially, I mean, they've got a bunch of guys can hit shots from outside, but primarily 2. It's Honor Huff and Trayson Eaglestaff. So they got to get going.
304 Talk 304 Texter says this men's basketball season was disappointing, but the women's team took a lot of the sting off the men's season by being fantastic. Hopefully with more time this offseason we can get a better team put together. And again, I agree. It's year one with this system. We talked about how long it took, how difficult it took for some of these players to adjust what the expectations were defensively. You just have to hope that the players, particularly the two freshmen, the players with eligibility return.
Yeah. No.
And that you build from that point.
Huge. And then obviously the incoming class that you have. That's 3. You had 2 freshmen. Even if you keep all that, that's 5. You're going to need
need starters.
Yeah.
You're going to need to pull some starters out of the portal.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, unlike the last 4 years, you hope you don't need 5 new starters out of the portal. But if you can get just add pieces and not instead of a wholesale changeover, that would be huge. And speaking of the women, it is going to be interesting. Of course, they play tomorrow night at Central Florida. A win over the Knights, a team that they just crushed a couple weeks ago in Morgantown. Locks West Virginia in for a double bye. I mean, in practical purposes, they're there now in terms of being a top 4 seed in the Big 12 tournament coming up. But this would lock them in, and 2 wins assures them of it no worse than a second-place finish and keeps their hopes of a regional hosting opportunity alive once the NCAA tournament comes around. I know the latest bracketology that came out today by Charlie Cream on ESPN has West Virginia as a 5 seed in their region. Obviously, the top 4 in each of the regions get chances to hope, so they're just outside right now.
Texter says it's been a disappointing season, particularly the home losses to Baylor and Utah. Those have been disappointing. I was hoping for a 500 record in conference play. I think this team has enough talent to do that. Hopefully, Coach Hodge can fix it. And, again, that's a good point. And Greg and Joe each pointed that out as well. There's still a decent chunk of the season remaining. You've got 4 games, Oklahoma State, BYU, Kansas State, and Central Florida at 16 wins right now. I think last season, Greg, universally was perceived that team overachieved a little bit, right? They should have been in the NCAA tournament, but this team's only 3 wins off that pace.
Yeah, with 4 to go.
Plus the tournament.
And they're 7-7 in Big 12 play, right? I do have that right.
Yes.
If they can get 2 more wins, they'd get to 500 in the league. That's where West Virginia was last year in the Big 12. Now, there were 2 more league games last year as West Virginia finished 10-10 overall in the Big 12. But you still have a chance to be 500 in the league. I don't know if 500 in a regular season in a pretty quick exit in a Big 12 tournament gets you anywhere near the NCAA berth, but would make looking at this season a little bit different, I think, perception-wise.
Yeah. And that texter's right. I mean, you beat Baylor and Utah at home, you've got 18 wins, and you're right there.
Yeah, you're definitely still talking bubble at that point.
Texter says it's been an okay season for the basketball team. Early losses to Clemson and Ohio State hurt. Also, their size and side. First year, you have to give Ross a chance. This program has gone through a lot in recent years.
Isn't that the truth? I don't remember any kind of turmoil like West Virginia's seen in the last 4 seasons.
Has there ever been, I mean, this is a blanket statement, but has there ever been a situation in any sport here where there's been 4 coaches in 4 years?
Not at West Virginia. Maybe I'd have to look back at like the World War II years when those things were just, in and out. But certainly in our lifetime, nothing even close to what West Virginia has experienced.
Texter says, overall, I'm disappointed. I thought the team would improve as the season has progressed, but that has not happened. That's hard to argue with that statement, considering the last couple of games. And, again, the home losses to Baylor and to Utah here the second half of the conference season. Texter says, we began the season showing the potential to be very good. I'm very disappointed with the fact that we've lost our last 3 home games. No excuse for that. Another good point. Texter says the fact you're guaranteed losing 170 out of 200 minutes per game, anything short of making the tournament, is a disappointment. And that was my thought, too, was that kind of the ceiling for this team, or at least in terms of expectations, was getting into the NCAA tournament. Again, there was no way that this team was going to compete for a conference championship this year, considering the Houstons and the Arizonas and the Kansases and the BYUs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, ultimately, the goal is to get there, but that takes time.
Yeah, no, you're right, and you just got to continue to build. And it is a very senior-laden top six. So, I mean, each of those are in their final years of college eligibility. So, understand that, though. Also, each moving up from Group of Five or mid-major level. For some of them, that's been a big step. For most of them, it's been a big step. I don't know if at times it doesn't look like it's been too big, but it's not been easy either at any juncture.
Texter says being too soft at the 5 spot has hurt this men's team a ton. And, again, that's a good point. There's so many good big men in this conference, and West Virginia is going to see another one tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody in this league has players, even the bad teams, right?
We saw that with Utah.
Yeah, exactly. There are a couple of guys on each of those teams you look at and go, that'd be a pretty good guy to have. And you look at Oklahoma State, there are a couple of those as well, despite their recent struggles. Big man, absolutely, who's getting better according to their people. So Harlan Obioha has to do what he can do, and that's not necessarily score. When he's at his best, he rebounds and defends well. He's not always done that. Sometimes he's done it really well, and generally those have been games West Virginia's won.
Mm-hmm. So, again, another very good big player for Oklahoma State, and Parsa Fowler, who is shooting 60% from the field, second in the Big 12 Conference, and he's gone over 20 points 7 times. And, again, this Oklahoma State team has hit a wall. They haven't scored nearly at a high clip during this losing streak as they had through the balance of the season. So, hopefully West Virginia can get a combination of that, playing well defensively, holding them down offensively like they did against TCU, and scoring some points themselves to try and win this game on the road. 304 Talk 304. That is the text line. We'll have more when we return. It is the CityNet statewide sports line. When it comes to cybersecurity, blind trust is a bad idea. CityNet helps businesses avoid risky connections with proactive monitoring, threat detection, and expert local support. Learn more at citynet.net today.
Getting ghosted is never fun, especially by your network. Cyber threats don't announce themselves. They slip in quietly, disrupt operations, and disappear before you know what happened. CityNet's cybersecurity services provide proactive monitoring, threat detection, and expert response, so your business stays connected and protected. Commit to a relationship built on trust and reliability. Learn more at citynet.net today. And remember, CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
Answering a text or phone call while driving. Seems pretty harmless, right? But in the 5 seconds you took your eyes off the road to respond, you missed the girl riding her bike across the street. You missed the dog who darted into the road. And you missed the stop sign. And while it was just a ticket this time, it could have been worse. In fact, more than 700 people are injured in distracted driving crashes each day. Keep yourself and others safe. Don't drive distracted. Just drive. This message was brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to wvmetronews.com to apply. That's wvmetronews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
New year, new trucks. Save over $7,500 off on select Tundras or get 2.99% for 72 months. Come experience cars you can count on year after year. Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the road.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Steig Wealth Enhancement Group is now Wealth Enhancement. We believe retirement starts with a plan. Saving for college starts with a plan. Your legacy starts with a plan. Do you have the right plan? Call our team at 304-443-4240 or email steig-info@wealthenhancement.com.
Kyle and Greg on this game night, sitting at statewide Sportsline. Mountaineers at Oklahoma State tonight. 304 Talk 304. Question of the night: has this been a disappointing season in your determination? Still with 4 games to go, kind of a chance to rewrite that narrative a little bit. Texter says Obioha missed his calling. Would have been a terrific football lineman. Missed out on some big money there.
Well, who knows? He was a lineman in high school. In 7-man football. He plays in he grew up in such a small Kansas town that it was not 11 on 11, but he did play high school football as a lineman.
Texter says, I think this team played a little above their abilities through the halfway point of conference play. Lack of offensive talent has caught up with him. Tough to hold teams under 60 points just to have a chance to win. Early success has made the current streak a little disappointing. All good points. Everybody's made good points tonight. Last night, Greg, 2 very intriguing Big Monday games, including the Big 12 part of that, the second half of the doubleheader. Kansas, absolutely uncanny, 41-0 at Allen Fieldhouse on Big Monday under head coach Bill Self. You'd think somewhere through the decades somebody would have gotten the flu or didn't play well, or 41-0 at home on Big Monday.
Incredible. And a team that just lost at home to Cincinnati over the weekend.
Exactly. So they haven't lost back-to-back home games since 1989, which is another incredible number. That's almost as incredible as 41-0 at home on Big Monday. So Kansas beats Houston 69-56. And Darren Peterson played most of the game. We've heard about the cramps and the hamstring and the ankle and flu-like symptoms, all these things that have kept him out of the game. But he's finished, like Bill Self said, you want to change the narrative, play and finish. And he's finished back-to-back games. Haven't played great. Cincinnati looked a little bit gassed at the end of that game. But on Monday, he was okay. 14 points, 5 of 14 from the field, 4 rebounds, 2 turnovers to 1 assist. But, again, he was in there, and he finished. He played the 3rd most minutes on the Kansas team. Actually, the 3rd most minutes, 4th most minutes, behind Flory, the center, and Tiller and Council were at 31, and Peterson was at 30. So right there in the mix. And Kansas looked really, really good in a variety of ways. Trey White probably had his best game of the year. You had Melvin Council running the floor and finishing. You had Flory Bigunda play a tremendous defensive and rebounding game. And then Peterson chipped in with 14 points, which was second on the team. So obviously if they play like that, they're a Final Four contender.
You know, in the Jayhawks just may be the most difficult team to figure out, because there have been times, you said, they've got Final Four ability, but there are other times, like losses to West Virginia or getting squashed at home to Cincinnati, when you go, well, you know what, I don't know if they get out of the first game of the NCAA tournament. So they've had, you know, a floor and ceiling that are as wide as anybody in this league, I think. Everybody else, I mean, you're going to get some weird results, but they've got more odd ones than I can think of, both sides of it.
Mm-hmm. But again, that X factor's there is Peterson,
Yeah.
where if he can play and finish games and contribute, they could be as good as anybody in the country. The ACC portion of the Big Monday doubleheader, interesting as well. North Carolina, without their great freshman, Caleb Wilson, was out with a hand injury, but they get a career-high 30 points from Seth Trimble, and they knock off Louisville, 77-74. Louisville couldn't hit a shot to save its life until the end there, and then Brown and Conwell hit all those threes. Unfortunately, West Virginia's Isaac McNeely, the former State High School Player of the Year, didn't play well. 0 of 5 shooting in 24 minutes and didn't score. But Louisville kind of got back in the game with a bunch of threes, got it to a one-possession game. But North Carolina holds on to win that game 77-74 without a key contributor in Caleb Wilson. So that was a fun game to watch as well. 304 Talk 304 texter says, Trayson Eagles staff getting a lot of money because he's a great shooter. He gets here, can't throw a rock into Cheat Lake. Should have demanded a refund on him. Well, Eagle staff's played. Of course, nobody's played better the last week, but I think he's played much better the second half of the Big 12 portion of the schedule than he did in the first.
Yeah, and it took him a while to get his feet under him. But again, here's a kid playing at North Dakota, moving up, and that's a huge jump for him. And you know, there are times he's looked like you expected him to look, but there hasn't been the consistency, admittedly.
Texter says, I think I'm more disappointed with the effort of the team at times than I am with the outcome of the games. They've won 16 games by putting forth their best effort, then I'm good with that. They've done the best they can and played to the best of their abilities, but if they've won 16 games and didn't put forth their best effort by playing hard, mistake-free ball, and most importantly, not losing games they shouldn't have, then I'm not okay with that. I don't know if you can question the effort considering the number of comebacks this team has made.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with the effort they put out. Now, are there difficult to understand mistakes, bad turnovers at times, obviously, really cold shooting at times, but I think this team has typically played very, very hard. I mean, with Ross Hodges' system, if you're not playing hard defense, you're not going to be on the floor. And, you know, sort of a Hugs-esque type of thing. You know, calling Curtis defense, and that requires a ton of effort. But it always doesn't equate into skill in terms of the offensive end either.
Texter points out in that Louisville-North Carolina game, Louisville had a chance to tie 2 at the rim with under a minute to go and blew both shots. And North Carolina hangs on to win. Mountaineer women traveling today to Central Florida, and this is a team that you mentioned earlier that West Virginia destroyed earlier in Morgantown, and the Mountaineers 5-0 all-time against Central Florida, including 3-0 on the road. They beat this team 106-56 the first time around, and, of course, they're coming off a big win over Oklahoma State as well. So the Mountaineer women make this trip, get off the plane, take care of business, win, get back home.
One thing I'll say about the Knights is they were missing two of their two leading scorers when they played in Morgantown earlier, but I don't know if that makes up a 50-point deficit.
I don't think so. I think it seems that West Virginia has the Knights number in women's basketball. 304-TALK, 304. We'll clean up the text line when we return. Stay with us. More coming up on the CityNet Statewide Sports Line.
Hi, I'm Chris Lawrence, and the great outdoors is coming inside. Join me at the 24th Annual West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show presented by Can-Am, March 7th and 8th at Milan Park in Morgantown. More than 100,000 square feet of fishing gear and hunting supplies, outfitters and charter boats, ATVs, campers and tractors, guns, knives, and much more, all under one roof. An outdoorsman's paradise. The West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show, March 7th and 8th in Morgantown. A WVRC media event.
Answering a text or phone call while driving. Seems pretty harmless, right? But in the 5 seconds you took your eyes off the road to respond, you missed the girl riding her bike across the street. You missed the dog who darted into the road. And you missed the stop sign. And while it was just a ticket this time, it could have been worse. In fact, more than 700 people are injured in distracted driving crashes each day. Keep yourself and others safe. Don't drive distracted. Just drive. This message was brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
At the Health Plan, we are here for you, and we have been one of the most trusted carriers for over 40 years. Headquartered right here in West Virginia, providing exceptional health coverage and local customer service.
The Health Plan, we are here for you.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet Statewide Sports Line returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Hi, I'm Chris Lawrence. Make plans to join me at the Mountain States premier Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show presented by Can-Am, Saturday and Sunday, March 7th and 8th at Milan Park in Morgantown. Over 200 vendor booths and 100,000 square feet of everything outdoors, all under one roof. Great prizes, seminars, and kids fish for free in the Academy Sports Trout Pond. It's the 24th Annual West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show, March 7th and 8th at Milan Park in Morgantown. Doors open both days at 9 a.m.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
The conversation starts long before the game. 3 guys before the game. Join Tony Carini, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for 3 guys before the game. Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan proudly supports our active and healthy communities and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
CityNet Statewide Sports Line. We're inside the Health Plan Studios. Texter is asking if you have Paramount Plus, do you get CBS Sports Network as part of that subscription? From what I can tell, the answer to that is no, unfortunately. I do not have Paramount Plus, but from what I can tell, is that CBS Sports Network is not a part of that particular subscription. You get it?
Well, I don't get Paramount Plus.
But you get CBS
yes,
Sports.
I do get it through my streaming package.
Okay.
I'm not giving them any advertisement. They don't pay me to do it.
That's true. Good point. 304-TALK, 304. Mountaineer baseball team, by this time tomorrow when we're on, it's pretty likely that the Mountaineer baseball team will have another win because they are scheduled to host Ohio University at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Now you say, well, it snowed today in Morgantown.
Yes, it did.
And that's a true statement.
Pretty cold.
It snowed today. The sun did come out, but it didn't get – I don't think it got above freezing. Tomorrow it's supposed to. It's supposed to gradually warm up actually through the night and be about 50 degrees.
Wow.
At 1 o'clock tomorrow.
It'll be great baseball weather, or good baseball weather. Maybe not great.
Well, no, neither one of those. They'll get it in, though.
Yeah, and I've said before, I mean, I know you're a purist. You may not like baseball on turf, but if it weren't for turf,
oh, yeah, no question. You got to.
West Virginia wouldn't play.
You got to have it.
They'd miss 10 games this spring.
No, you got to have it. Got to have turf. Anyway, Ohio U's 1-6. So it'll be David Hagan.
Yep.
Pitching tomorrow for West Virginia. It'll be his first start of the year. He's pitched in 2 games, 2 1/3 scoreless innings for the Mountaineers so far. 3 strikeouts, 2 hits allowed, 2 walks. So he'll start for West Virginia tomorrow against 1-6 Ohio University, and we'll have that game to report on. Maybe some Steve Saban's post game to digest.
It will be a little interesting. One of the transfers who's really come out of the gate for West Virginia, Matt Ainich, is an Ohio University transfer.
That's right.
So he hit really well for the Bobcats last year and has moved that over to the Mountaineers, and he's been outstanding. So going against his old club, that'll be interesting. But again, you never know those midweek games. You know what you're going to get.
Well,
Hagen's been a good pitcher for West Virginia, and he's got experience, so it's not like you're throwing out a freshman that's never played.
Ohio University's team ERA is 8.05.
There you go.
So score some runs.
Yep.
Score
that
some
helps.
runs.
I mean, West Virginia's done that for the most part this year. The back half of the doubleheader on Sunday or Saturday was the one game they did not, and that's the one game they lost.
Spring training baseball, Greg, Pirates fever. Pirates fever.
World Series tickets on sale now.
You've got the pitching staff and obviously led by Paul Skeens, and you have the top prospect, the number 1 prospect in Major League Baseball in Connor Griffin, who homered twice today. Connor Griffin playing shortstop, 2 home runs and 4 RBI. Pirates beat the Red Sox 16-7. So it's Pirate fever.
What's their ceiling? Can they get to 500?
Oh yeah,
change.
Yeah, I think no question. I think they could be a playoff team.
Wow.
I absolutely think they could be a playoff team this year. Some of the other, the Cardinals have punted on the season already. I think Milwaukee comes back to the pack. The Reds, the Pirates, the Cubs, all I think will battle, and the Brewers all will battle for playoff spots. So, yeah, the ceiling is a wild card, I think, for the Pirates with that pitching staff. My goodness.
Well, that would be a major accomplishment for that program.
No question. All right, again, we'll have Mountaineer baseball to talk about tomorrow, and we'll recap the West Virginia-Oklahoma State basketball game as well tomorrow night on the Sportsline.
From the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline is an exclusive production of the Metro News Radio Network. All rights reserved.